Hi, my loves. Welcome to your Cosmic Weather Report for the week ahead. Now, after the big energies of last week, this week feels like a real integration week where we get to integrate everything that last week brought us. Now, remember that the Lionsgate Portal is still open. It's going to peak next week on 8/8. And so there's not a lot of big planetary activity happening this week, but everything that is happening is helping us to further work with those big energies and also allow them to really integrate and land within us. So the energies of this week start on Tuesday, where we get Mercury trine Chiron. Now, this is going to be a beautiful day for allowing your message to be heard. And so if there are any conversations that you've been needing to have, anything you've been needing to say, anything that's been on your heart, if you've been thinking of creating a new business or a new idea or starting something new or making a change or asking for a promotion, or there's anything that's been there within you, alive within you, this is the time now to have your message heard. And so it might be nice at the beginning of the week to just really check in to feel what is alive within me right now, what is on my heart, what is stirring within me that wants to be spoken and said through me. This is also a really powerful time to turn your wounds into wisdom. And so if you're noticing that things from the past are coming back around, or you find yourself always being drawn back into something that happened or repeating cycles and patterns, this is a really beautiful opportunity, especially with Chiron now being retrograde, to really find that deep inner healing and to heal your stories. And so if you notice that you have stories around, and this always happens to me, things never work out for me, it's a wonderful time to really check in with where we are still thinking from a place of wounding. So to really catch yourself in those thoughts of things never work out for me, this always happens to me, it's not fair, things never work out, whatever it might be, where we're more in those wounded thoughts, in that kind of victim place. And to really begin to heal those stories into ones of empowerment, especially if it relates to things from the past. Because remember, you can't get to your future while your past is still present. So this is a really good time to look at where those echoes of the past are still affecting where you are in your life and where you believe certain things because of what happened. And it's about now gathering the lessons, gathering the real wisdom in the wounds and the purpose in your pain, and changing the story into one of empowerment, really learning what it was that you needed to learn from what you went through, and the understanding that things couldn't have happened in any other way, because if they were meant to happen in another way, they would have done. And so taking back that power to learn what you went through, what you can gather and gain from that, and how you can now change that story, heal that story, and begin to use that to do things differently and to have your message heard in a different way. So it's a time to really take back your power and to have your message heard in whatever way that might be. It might be that you do need to have conversations about things from the past that happened, to close them off, to finish them off, to let go of resentments, to forgive, to speak a truth that you didn't speak back then, in order to be able to close that thing off and release it and let it go, so that you can do things differently moving forwards. But just whatever way you need to, let your message be heard. Really speak what is alive within you, what is alive in your heart, even if it feels a little bit scary. This is a time to really, I can't give you anything other than let your message be heard. It's all that's coming through. Just let your message be heard. Let your message be heard. If you've been not speaking up about something, if you've been afraid to maybe do a live or to speak about a truth that you've learned spiritually, or you've been hiding parts of yourself, just let your message be heard at the beginning of the week. Now, Thursday, then we get Lamas. This is the cross-quarter festival where the season turns, and we are now halfway between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. And so this is where we see the peak of one season and the first signs of the next. So right now we're seeing the peak of summer, and we're also beginning to see the first signs of autumn. So first of all, as we see that peak of summer all around us, everything in nature all around us is at full peak, full abundance, ready to begin to give. So this is where we gather in that first harvest. We start to reap the rewards of everything that we've grown and sown, not only in nature, but also in our lives. So this is a time to really celebrate what you've achieved, celebrate what you've created, celebrate what you've done, celebrate what you've brought to life, celebrate what you've manifested, celebrate what's grown in your life, celebrate everything that you have around to be grateful for. So you're gathering in your harvest of, this is everything I've grown in my life over this year so far, and really feel that gratitude for the abundance that you have in your life. This is a time to really feel the abundance, the gratitude, the fullness, to gather everything in, to really take in and gather in what you're going to need to be able to sustain you through autumn and winter. So this is where we're at our peak, our fullness. And as we're at that fullness of summer, this is also the time that we realize that nothing lasts forever. We start to see those first little hints of autumn beginning to creep in. And so this is our message to really give that last push to those things that you want to bring to life, to use the fullness, the abundance, the growth, everything alive and full and giving around you. Use that energy to really look at, what did I say I wanted to do by the beginning of the year? And now, as we've gone halfway through the year already, we're starting to wane down towards autumn, towards winter. What have I not done? What did I say I wanted to do and I haven't? What haven't I given enough energy to? And how can I now use everything I've got in my life to give that last really, really big push to bring something to life, to make something happen? And enjoy this Lamas energy, enjoy these final parts of summer, and celebrate. Really feel that celebration of everything you have and everything that you are. Celebrate yourself, celebrate who you are, celebrate who you've been and where you've been, celebrate who you're growing into. Just find that real cause for celebration, and that again will bring such an energy shift. When the wheel of the year turns in nature, there's also a turning and a shifting in us. And I want this shift for you to be into a shift of real celebration. One thing I normally ask anyone to do who works with me closely is to go to a mirror at the end of every day and tell yourself 3 things you did well that day. And they might be really small things. It might be like, you said a brave thing, or you made this happen. It might be really small. It might just be that you got out of bed today and you got yourself out there into the world when you really didn't feel like doing it. But the more you can celebrate yourself and life, anytime anything happens that's good over this week, I want you to really celebrate it. Again, no matter how small it seems, I want you to be like, oh, that was amazing. I'm going to celebrate that. One thing we do not do enough in life or as humans is celebrate. So I want this week, that's a real theme I want to give you for this week. Celebrate everything this week, and notice how that brings a real shift in energy. Now, Friday, then we get Venus square Uranus. Now, in the theme of celebrating and celebrating you, Venus square Uranus, Venus, that planet of relationships, especially relationship with self, your values, your self-worth, self-love, self-care, meeting Uranus. Liberation, freedom, awakening. There's going to be a big opportunity for awakening and for transformation towards the end of the week, to really go after your desires. Whenever we've got Venus and Uranus energy, we find those deep desires that we've been hiding coming back up again, and we can't ignore them, and they're there and they're at the surface. There's a desire for change. We can often feel quite excited about change around this time. So especially if it is wanting to go after something big and brave and bold that you've been putting off, there will be this opportunity to embrace change, to feel excited about it rather than afraid of it. This is a chance to really get into alignment with your values. This is what I value. These are the values I want to live by. This is what I want to be known for. When people think about me, I want them to think about this. I want them to think about someone who is trustworthy and who always stands by their word, or someone who's brave, or someone who's bold. How do you want people to think of you and really begin to step into that version of you that embodies who it is that you want to walk through the world as? What do you want to be remembered for? I want to really embody and embrace your values, and if there are changes that need to be made in your life in order to further begin to embody that, this is the day to do it. And allowing those deep desires and dreams to start to surface is really beautiful preparation for Sunday when we get the Leo new moon. So the Leo new moon happening in this Lionsgate Portal energy, happening just around that shift of season. The Leo new moon asks you to shine bright as all of you. The Leo new moon wants you to be brave and to be bold and to know what you have to offer in the world. Remember with Chiron retrograde, we spoke last week about really working on that deep healing around not feeling that you've got anything to offer, not feeling that you've got a purpose, not feeling that you've got anything to say, not feeling that you've got anything to give. We should have healed all of that up, or I hope we've at least started to, so that now on this Leo new moon, there can be this knowing of, well, this is what I've got to offer. Me. I've got me. I've got me to offer, you know? And so the more I'm just me, and the more I show up as me, and the more I give as me, and the more I express as me, that's what I've got to offer. And that's more than enough. And we don't need anything else from you. We just need you to be you. And that's it. And so this Leo new moon really wants you to step into that fullness and that knowing, and to contribute to the world in the way that only you can contribute to the world. And it's also a day to set really big intentions from your heart and your soul. Leo rules the heart. So whenever we've got Leo energy, we've got big heart desire energy, real big, bold, living from the heart energy. And so I want you to really feel into, what am I being really called to create, initiate, begin? What are my deepest soul desires? Like, if anything were possible, anything, what would those desires be? What would those dreams be? How would you want to contribute to the world? What would you want to offer to the world if anything were possible and there were no kind of restraints or anything like that? What would you want to give? That's the energy I really want you to feel into. And then I want you to begin to do that and start small, but I want you to just begin to contribute to the world in the way that only you can, and shine in the way that only you can, and offer what only you can offer. And so this feels like an integration week, but real integrating energies of that healing around our wounding of not enough. And then from that, allowing that real sense of knowing what you've got to offer, and allowing all of you to begin to shine and have your message heard. I want to give it to you one more time. Have your message heard. Celebrate you and everybody. Celebrate everybody around you. Everyone that you bump into, tell them something wonderful about themselves. Celebrate everyone around you. Celebrate everything that you have. Celebrate all you have to be grateful for. And then begin to contribute to the world in the way that only you can. Those are the 3 things I want to give you this week. Have your message heard, celebrate, and contribute to the world in the way that only you can. I hope, as always, this has helped, my darlings. I really do. Thank you so much for being part of this community and allowing me to contribute to the world in the way that I can. And I hope in some ways this inspires you, because if I didn't show up in, and there's weeks when I'm like, did I say the right thing? Is it okay? Is it enough? Is I'm helping anybody? Is there anyone out there that actually watches these? But I just continue to show up and contribute in the way that I can, in the hope that it does land and make a difference. And so if it does make a difference for you, know that if you begin to do the same and you begin to contribute to the world in the way that you can, it will make a difference to somebody out there. So go out there and do just that. Thank you so much. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll be back soon.